All right, hey guys, what is up? This is pretty much an impromptu live stream, live commentary. So probably nobody knows about it, so probably no one's gonna watch it. But I don't know. I found myself with the opportunity and sort of the compulsion, I guess. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. This is Hard Boiled, 1992. Just one of my favorite action movies ever. Of course, from John Woo, who had his breakthrough film, A Better Tomorrow, I think in '87. He'd done stuff before that, but A Better Tomorrow was definitely what put him on the map. And what's funny was, uh, I don't know what he thought of it at the time, but then there was clamoring for a sequel, so he did A Better Tomorrow 2, or Part 2, or whatever you want to say. And he decided, I don't know if he was rebelling or what, but he decided to make the violence and things even more over the top because he thought, um, maybe it would annoy people or something like that, but it had the opposite effect. People liked that even more, and it sort of established kind of what he was good at when it came to over the top action, especially featuring gunplay, which there was not very much of really in the Hong Kong film industry, despite having a long track record of action. It was martial arts action. So it's not like he was the first guy to veer away from that, but he might have been the first guy to veer away from that with a lot of success because he almost established sort of a subgenre without meaning to on his own. And of course, he also did, which this film stars well-known uh, Chinese star Chow Yun-fat, who really became a star from that movie, A Better Tomorrow. And as he said, like when he became known in the West, he was always seen as this big sort of action guy. But the truth was, he had like a much more varied background when it came to film and television roles. Of course, he'd been a soap star before that. He said he did a lot of romantic type movies. So it was always amusing to him that he had this image of as like an action tough guy in the West, kind of like Stallone or Schwarzenegger, when he had a much more varied background. But anyway, and then a couple years later, he was the star of The Killer in '89, which I think a lot of people consider John Woo's finest film. I love it, but I like this one just a shade more. So this is Hard Boiled from '92. This is the last film that Woo would do before embarking on a sojourn to America and doing some Hollywood films. In the same year, I think he did his first American film with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I always forget what it's called, but you know what I mean. I'll come back to it. It's funny. I'm a big Jean-Claude Van Damme fan, and I'm a bigger John Woo fan, and yet I don't like that movie very much. I like a lot of things about it. I like things that it tries. I don't feel like it succeeds, but anyway, it'll come to me later what that film is called. So the next few years, he did American films with very mixing, very a mixed sort of results of varying levels of success. But anyway, before he did that, he did this as sort of a last hurrah. I don't think, because then again, he did eventually come back to Hong Kong and make Hong Kong or Chinese movies. Of course, he did the war epic Red Cliff in the 2000s. But anyway, this is the last of this was sort of the end of an era though, and I think it's his best. I like it just a little bit more than The Killer. So actually, the way I'm watching this is a Blu-ray, which I'm not happy. This is what is this, Alliance Films? So it's one of those 2-pack thing deals. It's The Killer and Hard Boiled, and they're both on the same disc, which I don't like. I don't like cramming multiple movies onto one disc. I've never been a fan of it. But these movies aren't exactly easy to find, and when you come across two of the best action movies of all time right here in a convenient twofer on Blu-ray, you get it. I had already owned one of them. I already owned Hard Boiled. Here's the Dragon Dynasty DVD. It's a 2-disc special edition. It's been so long since I watched it or looked at it, I don't even know what's on the second disc, but I know at one point I probably did watch it. As far as I know, this is still the Dragon Dynasty version on here because I've got this queued up. The first thing that comes up is the Dragon Dynasty logo. If anybody can scrounge up this film to watch it, I don't think it's really streaming on any major platform in Canada or the US. I don't know, unless anyone wants to scramble for it. But yeah, at the moment, I've got it paused pretty much at zeros, and the first thing you see is just the beginning of the Dragon Dynasty logo. So, and of course, another addition to this besides Chow Yun-fat is Tony Leung, who is just one of my favorite actors. He's a fantastic actor, and I'm one of the many people in the wake of the Shang-Chi Marvel movie where he's the villain, he's the Mandarin, where I'm just one of many singing the chorus saying, it's a shame, like, if this is like a lot of people's introduction to Tony Leung. He's good in the movie. I mean, for what it is, he's good. It's just like you need to look at his movies and what a great actor he is. He's just like Chow Yun-fat. He's actually much more versatile than you might think. I'd say he's probably even a better actor as far as dramatic stuff than Chow Yun Fat. But it's great seeing them opposite each other here. So of course, another reason why this movie was made the way it was John Woo had sort of heard that because The Killer was such a success, in a way, it seemed more like he was glamorizing, I don't know, criminals and a life of crime, just because the main character played by Woo, of course, not Woo, played by Chow Yun Fat, is an assassin. But we've seen that sort of story before too, right? Like he's an assassin, he goes on a job, and then he decides not to go through with it, and then he winds up trying to protect his target, and he's hunted. We've seen that. Chow Yun Fat would do again, sort of even with Replacement Killers, which isn't nearly as good a movie, but a movie I have a soft spot for. I think Natasha Henstridge is in there. Or maybe no, it's not Natasha Henstridge. That's me getting my Hong Kong movie directors. I'm thinking of Maximum Risk by Ringo Lam, who's a guy. I will definitely get around to Ringo Lam. I think some people might refer to him as sort of a poor man's John Woo. I don't know if that's fair or not, but in some ways it does seem accurate. No, so it's not Natasha Henstridge. Who is it? Name's on the tip of my tongue, but it's not going to come to me. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, what I was trying to say is he made this movie. He decided, okay, well, this time, since I did make Chow Yun Fat, even though he turned out to be sort of a good guy, he was a criminal. He was an assassin. This time I will make the hero of my movie a cop. In fact, it'll be two cops, two hero cops, and that's what you have, where you've got, what is it? Is who's who? I got to remember who's who. Okay, yeah, Chow Yun Fat is Tequila. Who's who's kind of, again, sort of a stereotype that we've seen. He's one of those cops that plays by his own rules, with a reputation for breaking the rules and getting yelled at by subordinates, but he gets results. Damn it, we've seen that. And where we've got Tony Leung is playing Alan, or Chui, and he's an undercover cop who's managed to infiltrate a triad gang, and he's actually managed to attain a pretty high position. So they're both cops, although when it comes to Tony Leung, he's one of those like in too deep cops, because he's committing all sorts of crimes, even if he is still technically undercover. Anyway, as we'll get to it. But yeah, so the main point was he wanted to show sort of the sides of good of the cops, looking good. And I think the other thing this movie's known for, I mean, the main thing is what most John Woo movies of the era were known for, is like really crazy, intense action scenes, stylish gunplay. But the other thing that I think astonishes me about this movie is the amazing amount of like collateral damage. Because I think it's sometimes in movies, particularly Western movies, for the most part, even if they have big shootouts and things like that, they kind of want to minimize casualties and do what they can to like make it seem like only the people involved are getting in. And sometimes if you have civilians or whoever caught in the crossfire, maybe there's something will happen that will save them. Now, some people do get saved in this, but of course, what this is most remembered sort of the climactic scene is it takes place in a freaking hospital, right? So you couldn't have like a more closed-in, vulnerable environment full of people that are literally in no state. They can't get themselves out. But yeah, so it's definitely remembered for the collateral damage, and it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. So let's get into it. I don't really expect anybody to show up at this point. I didn't, as I said, this is quite impromptu. I didn't announce it or anything like that. So this is probably a solo thing that I don't know. Got to do something. I just have some time and energy. What's he drinking? Tell you later. But anyway, so let's get into it. So this is from 1992, directed by almost a Chow Yun Fat, John Woo, starring Chow Yun Fat and Tony Leung. This is Hard Boiled, and I probably have the volume up too loud, and we're going to find out. I'm not wearing headphones because nobody with me, so we'll see how it goes. All right. Just for the sake of tradition anyway, if anybody is there, we're queued up to the beginning. It hasn't filled the screen yet, but the start of the Dragon Dynasty logo is on the screen. So from there, we're going to do 3, 2, 1, push play. 3, 2, 1. And there we go. Bit of a delay. Now it's gone. So it's actually been a few years since I've watched this, so there is a lot of stuff that I don't remember. I remember the broad strokes. I remember, the more important plot points, I'm sure. Okay, turn it down a bit. Turn it down a lot, I guess. I can afford to since I don't have headphones on. So again, another logo here. I don't even know what this is. Atlas International. Okay, sure, whatever. It's funny. For a Blu-ray, this doesn't look particularly good, is what I remember. And it even has a disclaimer at the beginning saying like that it might not, which seems to suggest that whatever the original print of this film was maybe not very good, because it's like they couldn't even make it look good for Blu-ray. I don't know. Anyway, I don't care. Golden Princess Film Production Limited. Not Golden Harvest, Golden Princess. And there is a Shaw Brothers connection here that we'll eventually get to. Oh, more titles than I remember. So already learning some new things. Golden Princess, Milestone Pictures. All right. John Woo film. Don't worry, I'm not going to literally read everything. And of course, I'm watching the original Cantonese soundtrack with English subtitles. This does have the option for like English dubs, but I can stand an English dub in like an anime because in essence, all animated things are dubbed, but there's not really much excuse for one in something live action, I think. Although, as I've said, with certain Jackie Chan movies, that's how I was introduced to them. So I have a soft spot for their dubs for some of these movies, and we'll get to that. So, all right, off the bat, he's a hard drinking guy. You get to know it. I love he's playing some clarinet like a jazz club. It literally says jazz club behind him in English, just so we know. So there's still kind of that carryover. Maybe it's sort of a nod to the Killer, because of course the when he was the contract killer, he's at a jazz club and it's a jazz singer, I guess, or a pop singer, or whatever that he winds up blinding and then protecting. But yeah, they're just trying to give us off the bat that this is a very different sort of cop. He's a cop, but he likes to play clarinet. It's pretty good. I have no idea if Chow Yun-fat can play clarinet. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he can, or if he at least did for this movie. I've never really had much time with one, but as somebody who grew up with an alto sax, I can play pretty much any woodwind, or I could before my teeth. I haven't played in years. It's too much pain. But in my teens, I was a very good sax player. And if somebody gave me a clarinet or even a flute, which is a different embouchure, no reed or anything, but my sister had one, I could play one pretty well. So clarinet really gets to shine in jazz too. I think clarinet is a very boring instrument if you're like taking school band. It doesn't have any cool parts in any of the orchestral stuff you do, it seems, for a lot of the classical stuff. But it does get to shine for us things like this. There's some really nice jazzy clarinet going on. Oh, hi, Jamie. I was just checking the comments there. I'm surprised to get an audience, honestly, because this is, as I said, very spur of the moment, very impromptu. Yeah, same here. Like I said, this is not ideal. I really don't like having the two of them on here. And if you weren't here before, here is the Dragon Dynasty DVD of the movie. Seen better days, but as far as I know, still works. 2-disc Ultimate Edition. Yeah, nice neon. Hong Kong, in the beginning of the 90s. The world was really changing. You get some of that feel too in actually the a few years earlier in the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, I think Bloodsport, because it actually shows you some of Kowloon Walled City, which I think was finally demolished in 1993, which is a whole thing that I will not go into because then I would not really be talking about the movie. But if you don't know what Kowloon Walled City is, you should look it up because it's so cool. It makes me sad that it doesn't exist anymore. It would have been a really interesting place to visit if I ever got there. All right, so once again, we're doing some nice table setting here for probably what's going to turn into a big shootout scene. Lots of people. We got the cops coordinating. We've got birds in cages, guys sitting around tables with cigarettes. It's all going to erupt into horrific, bullet-filled chaos. I don't think that gives anything away if you know anything about John Woo. So John Woo does birds besides doves. Any bird will do. And really, the penultimate, I can never say the word properly, scene for that, of course, would be towards the end of The Killer with the whole shootout in the church with the doves, which he sort of did a kind of nod to in the American film Face Off, which is really good. I still love Face Off. It's cheesy and over the top, but it so holds up. I think it's one of the best action films of the 90s. Not as good as this, but it's up there. It's a real treat. I would say it's better than Broken Arrow. I think, yeah. I mean, this is my favorite John Woo film, as I've said. So it's to me, it is. I mean, I don't want to talk about best or whatever. I'm saying to me, I think most people when they're thinking about John Woo's work, or at least his action work, which he's best known for, I think most people would between these two, they might go for The Killer, but I go for Hard Boiled for a couple of reasons. One, of course, is Tony Leung, who is awesome. Oh yeah, look at this. He's got the toothpick in one corner of his mouth and a cigarette in the other. Oh, that's too good. But yes, I love Face Off. I never get tired of Face Off. That's one of those movies that I've seen endlessly. But it's funny, yeah. Broken Arrow It's not anymore, but for a good part of my life, Broken Arrow held the record for like most views by me. And I've never owned it. It just always came on TV and I always watched it. Yeah, I really like Broken Arrow. So yeah, John Woo did have some success with some American films. I think he did Wind Talkers, didn't he? That's kind of a different thing for him. But I mean, this was really, of course, his element, late 80s, early 90s Hong Kong action. So yeah, obviously some sort of police operations going on here, like a bust, but it's not going to go well. Here we fucking go. Kettles throwing. No guns fired yet, but it's only a matter of time. Ah, guns are hidden in the bird cage. Of course, they probably actually showed that, and I wasn't noticing. In the world of John Woo, handguns pretty much never run out of ammo, and they don't usually have too much recoil either. You know, you can easily fire with two. I mean, it's a fun trope. That's the other thing. It's like when you're defining what makes good action, there's never, of course, one thing. And I think the hardest line to walk is deciding what to make realistic, because sometimes when action's really realistic, that's what we like. And sometimes we like action for being the exact opposite. But if it goes too far, you know, you don't want action to be too realistic because then it's kind of boring. You don't want action to be too outlandish because then it seems silly and you don't buy it. You want some sort of mix in between. This still seems too loud, doesn't it? But I think John, like these movies are over the top, but they still have a certain realism to them. It's like, you know, how many of these situations would really happen? I don't know. But if they did, why not? And like as I said, if you want to get all scrupulous about firearms and things, that's fine. I'm not a person, although I watch violent movies and things like that, you know, I'm not somebody that knows about guns. The stuff I know about guns, I learned from the Metal Gear Solid series. And it is accurate stuff. So thanks Hideo Kojima. For as outlandish as that series can be with all this weird paranormal sci-fi bullshit that, you know, usually when they're talking about like most weapons. Oh, I love that. You know, this is before slow-mo became completely overdone, I think. Slow-mo is, that's another thing. You want a good balance. You don't want to overuse your slow-mo, but he uses slow-mo so well. So this is a hard opening scene because it's so chaotic. It's really hard to tell who's who. It's like, we're the good guys, you're the bad guys. What's going on? But don't worry about it. Not like, it doesn't mean this doesn't have a good plot, but okay. So somebody's got like an Uzi or a Mac 10 type weapon. Look how slow these people are for getting out of here. Oh, finally the cops are showing. The other cops. Yeah, see, I said like you want collateral damage, you got it. Like here's the people trying to get down, they're just getting shot out of the way. Woman, ooh, she doesn't die though. Ah, there's a very John Woo thing, sort of half sliding down the banister, blasting two handguns. Good job, Tequila. Chow Yun Fat always stands out to me, even in Chinese movies or Hong Kong movies, because he's actually a lot taller than the average Chinese man. He's over 6 feet tall, which means he's noticeably taller than a lot of the people he's playing against. So who's this other guy? That's the other cop. Okay, he's already been hit, but like most action movies, he's been hit, but he can keep going. Yeah, you hurt bad? No. And again, maybe he's not hit directly. Maybe he got, I don't know, maybe flying glass cut him or something. It is hard to tell. Oh, blasted right through the hostage. So yeah, what I say about collateral damage, they did get the bad guy, but they also shot the hostage full of holes. So that's not too good to go in your pocket. Still has the toothpick. Oh, so good. Still has the toothpick. Lying on the floor, blasting away with handguns. Still has the toothpick between his teeth. So badass. Diving over the table. You know, you'll see a lot of these things repeated in something like Face Off. Those muzzle flashes. And they're in a kitchen, so we got stuff flying everywhere. He's covered in baking powder or something. Oh, so he just killed a guy in cold blood. He had him, didn't have to kill him, but decided because that's the kind of cop he is. Could have arrested him, but so many civilians got hit. I can understand it. Oh, there's no significance to any of my tattoos beyond that I like them, and that's the other thing. Like, that's all I have. Things have gotten in the way. I was never going to be very have too many tattoos, but I have a few more planned that have been on the back burner for like 5, 6 years, and they're only more stars, so I want them. No, it's not special significance beyond. I like the shape. I like literal stars too. I like the word in English and French as well. Moon is my favorite thing, but I don't think moon makes good tattoos. But stars, yeah. So yeah, we've got a few different ones. And another one planned for this area if we'll ever get to it. I have one on my chest that sort of means something and one on my leg that means something. They are not stars, but they're very simple and straightforward. I showed this on an old episode of Sausage Factory, and everybody made fun of me for it afterwards. Not for the tattoo itself. I think the fact that I just bear it all, so to speak. The other thing, yeah, so there's a lot of Christian imagery in these movies too, despite the fact that Christianity is not necessarily a major religion in Hong Kong, although you could say the British influence. I mean, it could be. I mean, the moon is my favorite word. It's one of my favorite things. I love everything about the moon. And of course, for those who don't know, for many years before it became a Disney show, which I have extremely mixed feelings about, Moon Knight has always been my favorite comic book character and superhero. So it's really weird. And I don't like that he has a show, honestly. I don't like that people know who he is. Or I hate seeing Moon Knight trending on Twitter. I liked him when he was this little obscure thing that only certain people talked about. But anyway, so I love the moon. I mean, yeah, you could get a good tattoo out of it. But I also like tattoos that mostly like, although two of my tattoos, it's true, they do have a definite side to them. I mostly like tattoos that can be looked at from any angle, so they can't be sideways or upside down. I just like simplicity with tattoos. And it's funny because as a comic book guy, obviously I'm very aware of awesome, comic inspired art, so many that I see. But would I ever get one of my own? No, I wouldn't. Like, I admire them. I think they're cool, but I just don't really think something that detailed would really look good on me. I mean, since I follow Neil Gaiman, I'm endlessly seeing people showing Neil Gaiman their various Sandman and death-related tattoos, and they look awesome. They do, but I'm not jealous. I don't wish them. Okay, Jamie. Well, since you said the heart shape, here you go. There, so that's for Jamie, just because she said heart. So what's going on here? Yeah, they missed some of them. They missed some of the key players. You changed to tequila. You were sensitive. Now you're so hard. I mean, the dialogue's kind of blunt, but it's that kind of movie. Plus, to be fair, maybe it's less blunt than we think. This is, of course, a translation, so I'm just reading subtitles here. So. Well, I mean, that's the other thing I know about not wanting a really detailed one is, like, I'm not going to lie. Like, people say they don't hurt or just lying. Of course they hurt. And, like, when you finally get a tattoo, you know exactly what you can take and what you can't. I think if I was really dedicated, could get a very detailed tattoo, like a sleeve or something like that. But it would just be like, you'd have to do a bunch of sessions and it would be very painful. And at the end of the day, the result isn't something I want anyway. So I don't have to worry about it. But, like, when I got my first tattoo, I knew right away, okay, now I know what I can take and what I can't, like where I would get one, where I couldn't. Like, people that get ones on their neck, not only does it look bad, but I think that's insane. People that get them on the top of their feet, that's insane. A good rule is the closer to that bone it is, the more it hurts. That's why, like, up here, like upper arm is one of the easiest places because you have like some fat and muscle and stuff there. The closer to if you're just some thin skin over bone, that is the most sensitive and that hurts the most. It's been a few years since I felt that feeling, but honestly, the thing that bothers me more about tattoos than the pain is the sound. I hate the buzzing of the needle. I hate it. So it's another reason why I wouldn't want to I just don't want to sit there for hours and listen to that zzz. I don't know how tattoo artists can stand it. Right. So this is a nice another elaborate thing. They're like hiding guns and books at the library, I think. I really don't know what the gun laws were like in Hong Kong, but I love in these John Woo movies how just everyone has them, which I don't think is probably accurate at all. But isn't there a gun in that book? So this is an informant of his. See, I'm already forgetting stuff. So we switched, by the way. We're on to Alan. Alan is Tony Lung, who is the undercover guy. Yeah, there we go. Gun out of the book. Boom. Killed in cold blood. Yeah, so that was like it wasn't. Yeah, it was like an assignment. I mean, if you're, yeah, Holiday. If if you're undercover as an assassin in a triad gang, I don't think that gets you immunity. You're still fucking killing people. So I don't know. He's in too deep. That's a Kingdom Hearts tattoo, by the way. It's not just a random thing. That's from the video game series Kingdom Hearts. And speaking of like how I feel about Moon Knight, it's another thing is like I think Jamie and I actually spoke about this when we were talking about things we like. Like I don't, as a rule, like fandoms at all. Like I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan, been a fan since day one in 2002. So that's 20 years now. But I mean, since I follow, like I find Kingdom Hearts fans, the average ones, annoying as hell. Like I don't want to talk to them, and I don't care what they think about anything. So I don't know. I don't really buy into the idea of communities and things. This is interesting. He's trying to figure out what book fits into where the blood pooled around. It doesn't take him very long, but that's I think because the librarian witnessed it, so she's going to help. Who is the librarian? Is there a librarian? Maybe she's not important. I know that Teresa Moe is in this, and she's Tequila's girlfriend, but that can't be her. See what he's doing there? That's what I do anyway. I like to run my fingers along the spines of books in bookstores and in libraries. That book is slightly out, slightly askew. So yeah, he finds it pretty damn fast. What's there? Dickens and Women. That's interesting. So this is a complete works of Shakespeare. They probably, you could tell, yeah, and there's the gun with the silencer on it, the holodeck. That looks pretty thin for the complete works of Shakespeare. I own the complete works of Shakespeare like as a thing, and it's 4 volumes. So maybe that was just volume 1 though. Right. He also lives in a houseboat, and doesn't Riggs live in a houseboat for a while? No, he doesn't. He lives in like a trailer. Because I'm talking about Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon lives in a trailer. Yeah, Riggs lives in a trailer, not a houseboat. But there is a boat thing because Murtaugh like buys a boat or something. Yeah. Oh yeah, and here's every time he kills somebody, he folds a little origami crane, which is Japanese, not Chinese. And look, he's got a bunch hanging there. I guess just to remind him of the people of the lives he's taken. And again, what is worth that? Like, oh, I finally have the goods on the triad boss. I only had to kill like 19 people for him. I don't know. Right. So Alan is out here living on the houseboat. It's a long time since I've seen this, so stuff is only coming back slowly. Just checking some stuff here. Yeah, so the reason Tequila executed that guy was basically because he killed his partner, Benny. And then they basically, yeah, so right here, they're going to order him off the case. You're off the case. The triad boss is called Uncle Hoy. All right, and the guy he killed was somebody in the gang, but he double-crossed them for a rival syndicate. Okay. I'm reading some stuff here because I'm obviously missing stuff talking while watching this. Yeah, so there's going to be this whole thing about like arms dealing. It's making my head swim because I don't drink often enough. Sending your woman those exquisite flowers. Yeah, so his girlfriend is on the force. Right. So this is what is the name? I already said Teresa Moe. who I haven't really seen him much. She's done some sort of equal amounts of TV and work in Hong Kong cinema. But one thing that's notable is that she is Dory in Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. She is the Chinese voice of Dory. So that's pretty cool. Shine there. Yeah, it's kind of different for a police station, but I don't know, maybe. Early 90s computer with the green text on the black screen. So I don't know if they're on a break or if they're technically still together or not. White roses, that's interesting. I mean, what would white roses mean? I mean, in China, white is the color of death. I think it would be kind of a morbid thing to give someone white roses. That's what you wear to a funeral, white. And white flowers are usually used in funeral arrangements. But they're all obviously this is Hong Kong, so there is a lot of Western influence, the British influence over the years. You notice it more in some of the Jackie Chan movies. There's ones like in Police Story and stuff where they go, "Yes, sir." They say it in English because they're following like the British example. Right. They're figuring out some sort of weird music related code. But why would she think about the mi sa this do re mi fa sol la? I mean, that's really just slang. Really, it's not official. It's not like actual music notes or reading music. But she jumps to that immediately. The do re mi, and he corrects her there as he would because he is a musician, an amateur musician, but still a musician. It says I didn't know she liked roses. They don't comment on the color, so might not mean anything. There, she's singing the part in English. Are you somewhere feeling lonely? Seems to be a running thing here that most of these people don't respect the chief or whoever he is. Are you somewhere feeling lonely? I don't remember what this code is for, but it's something the bad guys are using. Ooh, that's a good coding program. Lion near trap stop exact. Okay, so Lionheart is the name of somebody. I think it's one of their undercover guys. Okay, he's superintendent. There we go. Chow Yun Fat's so good at that sort of smirk, that crooked smile. That takes talent. This is a nice garden, so I'm going to assume this is like the triad boss. Because they're always like living in luxury. Yep, there he is, Mr. Hoy. So Uncle Hoy. Yeah, a lot of stuff like brother, sister, uncle, and that gets used a lot in Chinese culture for various things. Even when they're not, literal. Like you might, like a girl might refer to an older friend as big sis, big sister, things like that. And that carries over again because there is a Chinese connection, haha, no pun intended or whatever reference intended in Lethal Weapon 4, which of course has triads smuggling people into Los Angeles, and that one of the triad bosses there was known as Uncle Benny. Like that whole scene with him and Riggs and Murtaugh in the dentist's office. Remember when they interrogate him? Which nowadays comes across as quite racist in some ways. Some of the stuff Mel Gibson's character says, Riggs says, is borderline racist, I'd say. Like Mel Gibson, borderline racist? Really? I know. All right. So now we've got Alan himself talking to him. So it is kind of hard early on to figure out exactly where Alan's loyalties lie. He seems pretty committed to the gang in a lot of ways. He killed that guy in the library without hesitation. Speaking of John Woo, and I was saying like Ringo Lam. Ringo Lam, of course, had done the whole thing of the idea of a guy that goes undercover and starts to genuinely care about the criminals he works in when he's in a gang. Most notably in his sort of landmark movie City on Fire, which is the movie that Quentin Tarantino shamelessly basically stole the plot from for Reservoir Dogs. And then if you want to talk again about undercover, what's a big one? The Infernal Affairs trilogy, the first of which, of course, was the remake. And I won't say this was shamelessly stolen because it was an actual remake. The American version was The Departed, which I think is really good. I really like The Departed. But it's just basically Infernal Affairs with a lot of window dressing. Like they draw things out, they add characters, and of course it's full of big Hollywood names. And I think it's great. I don't want to just dismiss it as window dressing. It's good window dressing, like good actors, good stuff. But I'm just saying at the end, the core, everything that makes it special is Infernal Affairs. And actually the guy here that is the uncle or whatever his name is, he's in Infernal Affairs. So he's in both. I can't remember who he is in that. He's probably one of the triad guys in Infernal Affairs too, if I had to guess. There's one of the main bad guys here too. We already saw. We didn't see his get name check. He's got the nickname Mad Dog, which comes up a lot and stuff. Mad Dog is one of the main antagonists in the Indonesian film The Raid. This is a mad dog with guns. If he's alive, like he's saying, I'm loyal to him. Now, of course, he is undercover. He's supposed to say he's loyal, but you kind of feel like it's true. Yeah. I guess it's on purpose. At first, it takes up like just watching the early scenes with Alan. The whole point is you really, and I don't at this point I don't think we know he's a cop either. Like I don't think we've seen anything that lets us know he's a cop. For all we know, he is a legitimate triad member and an important one. I think it's kind of a reveal later on that he's a cop. If something showed that he's a cop and I blabbed through it, oh well, possibly. I like his style. Nice rings, very gaudy. But that's what does this signify? This is something. Gangsters' cars are covered with flyers. There's Mad Dog. So yeah, so Mad Dog, that actor is Philip Kwok, who I don't know if he was still doing martial arts at the time, but he was a notable martial artist in the 70s and early 80s. He was part of what was known as the Venom Mob, which was 5 or 6, 7 actors that had, most notably, the first one was the film The Five Deadly Venoms, and he played the guy, I can't remember his name, but he was like the lizard style, sometimes translated as Gecko, the guy that got on the walls and stuff. That was Philip Kwok. So he did quite a few Shaw Brothers martial arts movies in the 70s and early 80s as part of the Venom Mob. Sort of interchangeable, almost always playing bad guys, but very, very talented martial artist. But here, of course, this is a shoot 'em up movie, so it's all going to be guns. That was weird. It did like a freeze frame there for a second. I don't remember that at all. That was odd. You don't see that in movies. When they looked at each other, it was just a second, held on it, then he looked back and he held on it. I'm pretty sure that's not my Blu-ray screwing up. I think it was an actual freeze frame. Stylistic choice. I wish I could go get more, but I won't leave you guys alone. I don't want any fish that comes out of that harbor. It's like one of the busiest ports in the whole damn world. The harbor here is disgusting enough. Maybe you can throw them back. Don't want it? Too small for you? I'd be like, probably it's living in horrific pollution. Although maybe they're far enough out that it doesn't matter. They're not like right in the city here. They are. I don't know. I don't have a good enough sense of the geography, really. So this is an informant. This is an informant working for Tequila, not a cop. I'll see you after the fireworks. Well, I mean, he knows what's going to happen. They're kind of self-aware, aren't they? Well, we are in a John Woo film. There will be fireworks. Ah, okay. So this is like their regular meeting spot. Your money's in the bucket. Very slick. More flowers brought to the station. What's her name in this? She is. She's also Teresa Moe is playing someone named Teresa. Teresa Chan. Okay, so Teresa's playing Teresa. That's easy to keep track of. Oh, going over their heads again. Heavy duty issue. I mean, he's not wrong. Look what happened at the restaurant. Uh-oh. Little problem with the decoding program here. Don't ever bite your own tail again. Looks like they've been found out. And he comes straight to Tequila about it. He says, "No, it's not a war. We can handle it. It's not a war, but I mean, for police action, it's pretty darn close considering all the guns and bullets that get involved." Yeah, so this is where he's telling him to lay off the case. Like, I don't want you on this. And they're saying, I spent so many hours working this case, and you tell me to lay off? Yeah, so the big scene here, right in front of the whole precinct, clashing with the brass. Show me respect. And there, it says it in English. This is a fucking order. So, yeah. It's the same thing, though. He can show all that attitude and disrespect to his superior, and they don't fire him or really even discipline him because he's so damn good. You know, you don't have him saying his results. So yeah, so there's Mad Dog. He's easy to tell. He's got like a denim jacket on. Sometimes, you know, with a lot of these like Japanese and Chinese and various Asian gangster movies, it's you can get characters mixed up because they all kind of dress the same. You know, they're dark haired guys, similar height, but luckily a lot of these people stand out from each other. Mad Dog. Mad Dog doesn't really. He does have a few lines, but for the most part, he's kind of silent, I think. And he's also one of those bad guys that has like a certain sense of honor too. Like he likes to kill and fight, but he has like this idea of fair play and rules. Yeah, I remember this. I remember this very well. It's all going down here in the shipping yard with all the shipping containers and the guys on the bikes. All hell's going to break loose, of course, because that's what the movie's about. But I remember this quite well. Sort of a sting operation for the. Yeah, now you have the added complication of. I'm assuming this is like an illegal chop shop going on here. They're like taking the cars apart and. I don't know. Are they putting the parts into containers to ship them somewhere? Something like that. Yeah, this is definitely not legal. Got some drugs too. No drugs. You gotta have drugs. It's like the exact sort of scene where Daredevil would show up. It's a big operation. Tons of guys. And more coming. And if you ain't heard of Hard Boiled, you gotta educate yourself. Well, I mean, if you like action movies anyway. And I like a lot of John Woo's films, but this is my favorite. But yeah, maybe next for just a solo one, or if I'm lucky enough, because these are more obscure movies. They're harder to get people with unless they own them. Like as I said, as far as I know, this isn't streaming anywhere. I'm just watching my own copy. But I would like to do a Ringo Lam movie because he definitely doesn't get talked about nearly as much. But Ringo Lam did some great action stuff back in the day too. I'd really like to see Full Contact again. That's a good one from around the same time. Might even be the same year as this movie. Might be '92. Full Contact's freaking awesome. There we go. So what we have here is two opposing gangs. Of course, the cops wouldn't just ride in and shoot everybody. So yeah. So what is happening here? It's like somebody spilled, somebody talked, and now one of the rival gangs has like come in to, I guess, steal the merchandise. Yeah, so you have Johnny Wong. Okay, Johnny Wong is one of the guys in the triad, and he wants to basically take over the gang from Uncle Hoy. So I guess these are his guys coming in, trying to kill everybody and steal the merchandise. And things escalate quickly. I mean, I say escalate quickly, but I mean it started literally them riding in, guns literally blazing. So, oh yeah, good stuff. I mean, I'm sorry, but nobody does action better than Hong Kong, whether it's martial arts or gunplay or whatever. This is the beginning and the end of the era too, like because when of course Hong Kong went back into Chinese hands in 1997, that actually meant that the Chinese government could impose more rules and restrictions on them. You know, the Hong Kong films were always separate from mainland China films for decades because of that, and they had a certain amount of freedom that mainland China films didn't have. But you know, I mean, I'll do a whole series on Hong Kong action. I've got quite a few interesting things for that. Just right next to me. This is a British set, but I've got an international region free player. So here's the Lucky Stars trilogy. Now you see Jackie Chan there, but Jackie Chan's not really the star. He's in all of them and he's important in all of them, but it's more of an ensemble piece. So that's the three dragons that came up together. There's Jackie Chan, and then with the tennis rackets, that's Sammo Hung, and then the smaller one aiming the gun, that's Yun Bu. And I have to say, I've talked about him before, and I mispronounced his name. I was calling him Yin Bao. It's not Bao, it's Bu. It's Yun Bu. Anyway, they're the three dragons. They were in the Peking Opera together and trained together and did movies together through the '80s, and they were amazing, all of them. And I think we think of Jackie as so unique, but those two were a lot like him, particularly Sammo, because Sammo, as you can see, doesn't look like the typical martial artist, being somewhat overweight. But man, what an martial artist! And he had a real sense of comedy and physical comedy. And some of the best movies Jackie Chan's in are directed by him. And Sammo Hung is the director of all these. Jackie would direct some of his own films, but then chose to step away from that. And you always wonder what it could have been like if he stayed on them directing, because here's another one. Here's probably his most famous movie that he directed. Again, another British edition. UK. This is Miracles. Sometimes Miracles, the Canton Grant Godfather. Because not only does Jackie direct this, and it is an action movie, but it's actually his most like sort of stylized and artistic film, and he really shows some chops in it. All right, so mostly because of Alan, they held them off. Or is that Johnny talking to him now? Hmm. I need to check the facts again here because while I was talking about Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung, I missed some of the plot. Yeah, so Alan did agree. Yeah, so when Johnny Wong approached Alan to help him like take over, he did agree, and they go to the warehouse and they kill a bunch of Hoy's guys. So yeah, so they have basically succeeded here for the most part. I might have already missed it because it's going to be Alan who kills Hoy himself. I missed if he got away, but now the cops are moving in too. So yeah, I must have missed that. So at this point, Alan has already killed Hoy to show his loyalty to the new boss, Johnny Long. But now the cops are moving in. There's Tequila. You know where your bread's buttered. I mean, why would you doubt him? He helped you take over, and he literally killed the old boss for you. Oh, Tequila's got a shotgun. All right, so for some reason, they all scatter and leave. Alan stays behind alone. What are you gonna do with Hoy's dead guys? Just leave them there? I guess so. So, yes. So right up to this point, I think, yeah, there's nothing that has shown us that Alan's a cop or has ever been a cop. Because I mean, is he? Can you consider him a cop at this point? The things he's done. We're talking about going deep undercover. Well, Mad Dog's still here too. Grenade action. Here we go. I guess those were the cops moving in, but Mad Dog saw them and tossed the grenade. No, those aren't cops. Okay, so we haven't missed it. This is Hoy and the rest of the guys. Okay, so Hoy's only just arrived on the scene. So when I blab about other stuff, it's very easy for you to miss what's going on. I mean, Alan's kind of on his own here. Everybody else here is loyal to Hoy, I think. Well, no, not everybody. Okay, yeah, big standoff. It's very profane language in Cantonese. I don't know, Hoy. I think you would have been better off letting Lonnie shoot him. Tells all his guys to stand down and drop their guns. I guess he thinks he can talk his way out of this. He is Uncle Hoy. He's used to being the boss. So let's see what he says here. See what his play is. All right. Spoiled. Alan is going to kill him. Oh, Johnny's back. That was weird. I thought he was gone. Then again, it wouldn't make much sense for him to kill Uncle Hoy without Johnny to see. Yeah, that's why you don't do that. It's interesting. It's translated there that he said, "Put your effing guns down." I wonder how that translates literally. Like, for us the word is "fuck," so we can say you're effing. How do you almost swear in Cantonese? I wonder. I don't know enough about the language. Yeah. So he's saying, "Okay, we'll surrender. There's no need to kill us all." And Alan's even trying to convince him. He's like, "Hey, if he's surrendering, you don't need to kill them all." But Johnny's quite ruthless, as you see. Wants to talk to Alan alone. Yeah, so you get the feeling that even though Uncle Hoy is a triad boss, that he's kind of decent, at least as far as criminals go. Like he doesn't like just like killing people and stuff. He seems to, and then Alan does have a grudging respect for him, which makes it weird why he would listen to an idiot like Johnny, and he is going to kill him. So it's really hard to tell what Alan's motivations are here, especially when you find out that he's an undercover cop, but he obviously lost himself to this life. A bunch of rotten goat shit. Yeah, he says himself. He says you should. Yes, that I'm remembering some of this. He tells him to. He tells Alan to shoot him. Finish the job. There's no way out. Either you kill me or I kill you. Very dramatic. There you go. Kind of like Cor and Halfhand telling Jon Snow to kill him when they're beyond the wall in A Song of Ice and Fire. If you want a really strange reference, uh, I guess that happens in the first book, Game of Thrones. It's been a while. I think that's the first book. If not, it's the second book, Clash of Kings. I think it's the first book. I'm trying to remember how that book ends, where everybody is. It's so hard. I can't keep track of everybody. I know, spoilers, Ned is dead by then. But we don't have time for me to get into A Song of Ice and Fire. Those will be some interesting videos someday. That is complex shit. So the cops have just been watching all this time and have backed off, and now they're coming back with, I guess, tear gas? Tossing tear gas in from the roof. See, most movies would only have like the one big thing, but here we get two different ones. Oh, this is awesome. You don't get more actiony than that. Swinging down on the cable or whatever it is, blasting guys. Like he does have backup, but you can't tell at this point. It looks it just looks like Tequila's just coming in by himself. Get him. Really, you think? There's no way he's doing this by himself, right? Where is his backup? You'd have to be a lunatic. There's Mad Dog. I mean, if the whole point was I'll create a diversion and then you guys move in, where the hell's the backup? Oh, shotgun action. At this point, it's literally just Tequila against like 50 guys. They can't get him. So Alan says, I'll take care of him. He's got the two handguns. It's very clear what kind of cop Tequila is. It's much more satisfying for him to just shoot people than arrest anybody. I mean, these scenes are so complicated with all the stuff going on. I mean, John Woo really is a master to like find order in the chaos. These are chaotic scenes, but he always is able to shoot them in a way that is clear what's going on. See, I think that's, if I was talking again about how there's certain criteria for what makes good action scenes, one is you need clarity. Even when things erupt into chaos like this, you need it to be shot in such a way that you know where people are in relation to each other. You know what the threat is. You know what the stakes are. You can't just have a bunch of insanity happen that you can't follow, because that's just no good to anybody. Flying through the air with a shotgun? I mean, I guess that makes sense. You don't think about like a motorcycle having a gas tank, but obviously it does. It runs on gas. So I guess obviously there he shot the motorcycle's gas tank. And this guy decides to do the exact same thing. He just saw the other end, the exact same thing happens to him. I didn't think he'd be able to shoot a gas tank twice. Here comes Alan. He's a different kind of guy. Okay, there the car door is stopping the bullets, which has been debunked. Unless it's like the president's car or something. The average car door is not going to stop any bullets for you. They'll punch right through, even from like a low caliber handgun. Oh, it's good to see you, Monty. I don't love it, but maybe I need to see it again. It is definitely one of the better like American films that Chow Yun Fat did. If you weren't here earlier, the one I really like, the low key one, I really like The Replacement Killers. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination. It's kind of just okay, and in some ways, it's sort of like it's kind of really too similar to The Killer, but I do really like that one. But maybe I need to see it again, The Corruptor, because it's been a long time. And for the record, if you're new getting here, this is my favorite Wu film. Killer comes close, but this is my favorite. I love this film. I mean, just one of the best action films out there. The music here is pretty cool too. And then we have the two guys coming through the smoke, pointing guns at each other. Again, this would be repeated in like Face Off. What do you think in a moment like this? I mean, as fast as you pull the trigger, they can pull the trigger too. But then again, their guns are right at each other's heads. So I don't know. Somebody shoots you in the head. Do you literally have enough time to pull your own trigger? And they both let each other go. And Alan knows he won't shoot him in the back, which is kind of weird because I don't know. This guy's like, for a cop, this guy's a wild man. And we've already seen him execute a guy in cold blood. You had the upper hand on him too because you had a revolver, and revolvers don't jam. That's one thing that makes revolvers more reliable. I know as well. Maybe they're not as fast as some guns. They don't jam. Yeah, yeah. What he basically finds out there is like that Alan easily could have killed him and didn't. I guess he made a few more origami swans or cranes or whatever there. I don't know how he can even keep track of how many people he killed. It's not like he was doing a specific job. I know you're a big connoisseur of action films, so we have to maybe get together and talk about them sometime. So I know you know your action. Probably better than me. Let it all out, Alan. But yeah, Tony Lung's so good. He has such expressive eyes, which is, of course, a really great, important thing to have if you're an actor, because then it doesn't even matter what language you're speaking, because your eyes can say so much. Elijah Wood does too, for example. I like how he gives him a police sketch. He's like, "Do you know this guy?" To most of us watching, the police sketch looks like random Chinese man, or even just random Asian man. But it's just like, yeah, I know him. He's a triad. I don't mean to like sound racist there, but I mean you're looking at a police sketch, so it's very it's not detailed at all. So it's like it's a Asian guy, probably in his 30s, maybe he's 5'9", dark hair, brown eyes. I don't know. I think being a police sketch artist in Hong Kong would be pretty easy. Is this the guy? Yeah, more or less. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop. I sound terrible. Don't mean it. No harm. Yeah. So what's interesting, I guess, here to Tequila is that as somebody, I guess, who is somewhat intimately acquainted with a lot of the case, he would know a lot of the major players. Alan is not a face he knows, so he's asking about like, who is this guy? Yeah, you better tell us which are cops or which are thieves, and that's the other thing too, because he's being told, it's not your department. So if we have undercover guys, you can't know. Nobody can know. That's the point of this. Yeah, and he's just like, well, if you don't tell me, we're gonna wind up killing each other. Although I still think it's clear at this point that Alan has somewhat gone rogue. Like he's been submerged in this life where I don't know if he's really operating as a cop anymore. He might be operating as a triad with somewhat of a conscience, but not really like a cop. But yeah, so Pang is going to confirm to him that yes, okay, he is an undercover cop. And I'd be like, if he's an undercover cop, like put a leash on him, something, rein him, rein him in. But yeah, I'm really excited about some of these British releases I have of like some martial arts films, particularly Sammo Hung and Jackie Chan. But I don't want to do them alone, but I don't have really people to do them with because they're not easy. Because unless you are specifically seeking them out to buy them, they're not easy to find. Although I was really surprised that like I ordered this in like November, and it came within a few weeks. But before that, on Crave in Canada, which is the service that has HBO and Stars and a few other things bundled into it, just randomly the middle one, My Lucky Stars, showed up on streaming, which seems so weird and random. So I actually got to see it before I owned it. And of the three, I think it probably is my favorite. They're comedy action movies, and the comedy is not great, or at least it doesn't translate that well, or maybe it doesn't age that well. We talk about like comedy from the '80s in American films that haven't aged well. it works. It works for Hong Kong movies too. There's some painfully crappy humor in those movies, but they're still cool. Still a lot of fun. And of course, some very nice martial arts stuff. And plus, it's sort of a who's who, because you don't just have the three dragons. You've also got guys like Richard Norton, the Australian martial artist. He's really good. There's another guy I can't remember. Uh, I'm blanking on names, of course, but there's a guy who we actually talked about a few years ago. Jay Ork and I did my favorite Jet Li film, which is Fist of Legend. And in that, there's a Japanese character who's actually one of the few sympathetic Japanese in that movie, an older man that sort of helps him out. And I think the actor's last name is Kasaraba or something like that. But anyway, he's in that movie. He's in a few things. He's also in, if you want to talk about the who's who, and here they are on the front, Millionaire Express, which doesn't have Jackie Chan, but it doesn't matter because it's full. But see the white guy there? There's Richard Norton, the beard. He had sort of a, and Cynthia Rothrock's in this too. And she has a fight scene with Sammo Hung that's really good. I'm losing my camera again. This makes it focus sometimes. A little better. And I know the lighting's not good because these are just commentaries, so I don't really care how my lighting looks. So what have I blabbed through here? But yeah, I have all these plans to talk about these movies, but I don't want to talk about those by myself. So they're kind of on the back burner or hold. I don't know. Because, yeah, I've always been into Hong Kong action, but in the last few months, I've really taken the plunge. Like for Christmas, it was important. I got the International Player because, I don't know, a lot of these movies don't have, as somebody pointed out earlier, a lot of these movies, these Hong Kong movies, don't have proper good North American releases, but they have good UK ones. And that's what I've been getting since Christmas. And I definitely have a few more to get. I think I'm probably going to get the two Project A movies next. Those are ones that star Jackie and that he directed. Basically because it's a sort of a 2-for-1 deal. But they're not on the same disc, which you heard me bitch about earlier when I showed this. I don't like cramming movies onto the same disc. All right, so does Tequila come down and actually meet him? So Alan's coming back to his houseboat. He thinks something's off. Someone's been here. Yeah. All right, yeah. And here we go. He's got the drop. Tequila's got the drop on him, but Alan doesn't care. Yeah, he's so much younger here, but you can still see it. Like when I think of when I saw him most recently in the Shang-Chi movie, he's so much older, but you can still see that it's him. It's like you're not exactly a criminal, but not exactly a cop, which is true. Sergeant, Inspector, Joker, should I salute you? Waxing a little poetical here, are we, Alan? Could we ever be friends? You've got the gun. Ooh, very nice. This isn't a short movie either. We still have like an hour to go. This isn't your typical sort of 90-minute action fest. This is a little over 2 hours. You can ask him the significance of the paper cranes. Is he going to tell him? I don't know. It wouldn't be a good idea to tell him that it's for all the people you killed. Oh, he does tell him to make one each time I kill somebody. Should I make you one? Oh, yeah, they're both playing it cool here. Sizing each other up. So he proposes they work together to take down Johnny Wong. And Alan makes it sound like he doesn't have any intention of being involved. But I mean, what's your end game here, Alan? Well, here, somebody's been sent. Did Wong send guys to kill Alan? Because that's what it looks like. We got a hit team coming in here. What did Alan do to make people come after him? Okay. Yeah, I'm jumping ahead here. Yeah, it's because one of the guys that he thought he could trust is a police informant. Funny how that backfires. But these aren't cops. Unless they're dirty cops. It is, unless you follow closely, it's very hard to tell who's who and who's working for who. Anyway, 3 guys just came. Alan killed them. Oh, not all of them. There's still one left. That's the other thing. Like, bullets don't really make people go flying either. Even if you get hit with a shotgun, as powerful as a shotgun is, it doesn't actually make people fly back, even if they're hit close range, because bullets are still small things. But people always make it like the shotgun has so much power and kick that it'll send you flying. The worst one is when people get shot near windows and it causes them to fly through the windows. I don't think that could ever happen, from my understanding of firearms, which I admit is more limited. But even a powerful gun, bullets don't pick you up and send you flying. They tear through you, is what they do. But anyway, as I said, poetic license, blah blah. You do what you can to make stuff look good. And it wasn't too overused here. As I said, what the one I really hate is people getting shot near windows and it just causing them to crash through the window. Like, I don't think so. If you get shot near a window, you just slump down on it. You don't fly through it with enough force to break it. All right, so he can keep his cover. He jumps into the water. And here come Wong's guys, including Wong himself. Yeah, you're my guy now. Yeah, so in a way, this worked out because this makes him trust him even more. But he did take some hits. They're gonna take him to the hospital, so I assume that's why. Because I couldn't even remember. Like, yeah, like a lot of the climax of this movie takes place at the hospital. I guess it's because Alan's there. I couldn't even remember because it's been so long since I've watched it. Wasn't this messy? I'm interested that as triads, they don't have any qualms about taking to the hospital. I mean, they're triads. Wouldn't they be like, no hospital? We gotta take you to some back alley underground doctor or something. But I don't know. Maybe they've got connections. Because I mean, here's Johnny walking right in with them. So here's the shots of some babies, just to let us know that yes, even babies will be in danger in this movie. The movie won't go over the edge. We're not going to kill babies, but they are going to put them at risk. So here's the whole like maternity ward, babies everywhere, and they're walking right by it. I don't know. Different hospitals are set up differently. Oh, and here comes Mad Dog. I guess something hit him in the face. He got bandages all over his face. Must have missed it. Because that's one of the things. It's like Mad Dog at one point, spoilers, is going to like let a bunch of like patients leave before they continue the fight. Because again, Mad Dog has kind of a code of honor. He doesn't really want to kill civilians. He just wants to win his fight. So at this point, Mad Dog has not had any lines, but I think he eventually either does or maybe he just nods or shakes his head. I don't know. But for whatever reason, they seem to be showing that where they're treating Alan is very close to like the maternity ward. Maybe that's true. Maybe some hospitals are set up that way. I don't know. A little Star Wars screen wipe there. There were probably more that I didn't notice. He's got the cigarette. But I mean, that's true too. Like to a certain point, I mean, I think by 1992, at least where I lived, there were no cigarettes in the hospital. Maybe there were in Hong Kong, or maybe they're just showing that how badass he is. But I mean, if you go back far enough, like the 70s, early 80s, pretty much everywhere, yeah, people smoked in hospitals, which seems ridiculous, but I don't know. I'm old enough to remember like smoking in most public places, but not hospitals. Like I remember going to like an arcade that was in a bowling alley in the hall in the small mall, and like everybody smoked there while I was playing my arcade games. I mean, that was one of the best things about bowling. It's like a sport you could play while smoking and eating too if you wanted. Oh, who's this guy? Mad Dog's kicking the shit out of him. So all we get to see some of Philip Kwok's. No, he's not really using any martial arts. He's just wailing on him. I mean, that kick was actually pretty clumsy. I bet you even at that age, Philip Kwok could do a much better kick. It's just probably for the character. They're saying, nah, he's just brute force. Did a number on him. Oh, that's what's his name's informant. Tequila's informant. Oh, so Alan puts something in his pocket as sort of like a message, I think, for Tequila. Because while he was beating on him, he slipped something into his pocket. It's like he knows he can't save this guy, that they're going to kill him, but he can at least put a message on this guy's body for Tequila to find. Geez, Alan kills him himself. So, once again, like, I mean, I understand he knew that he couldn't save him, but I don't know if he really thought he had to kill him himself. But maybe Alan's just like, this is how I've established myself in the gang. I'm the guy who kills people. So if I don't kill somebody, they'll be suspicious. But I'm just like, I don't know, Alan. I know you're undercover and all, but I don't think undercover cops are told, do anything, kill, rape, pillage, murder, do anything to keep your cover. Like, then there's no point. You're not really a cop anymore if you're like literally murdering people on the orders of a mob boss. But that's why. Okay, see, I talked myself out of it. It wasn't a message. He put the lighter in the pocket to absorb the bullet so that it wouldn't kill him. It's pretty risky, but it's better than nothing. It's better than what I just said, where I was like, he just kills him. So no, it wasn't a message. He put it in the pocket to protect him and then deliberately shot into it. Which, I mean, still, maybe the odds are it might kill him, but, better than nothing. Like, as I said, I guess he realized, no choice, I have to shoot him in front of these people. So that was why the cigarette case. I thought maybe it was some sort of message or something. It was just to keep the guy from dying. Yeah. So this is really testament to how long the climax of the movie is. Because there's still quite a bit of movie to go, and we're already in the hospital. So a lot of stuff is going to go down in this hospital. I mean, a lot of shooting and violence, but we're not quite there yet. So Tequila is coming in to keep an eye on informant dude. Yeah, see? English on the signs. You wouldn't see that in other parts of China, but this being Hong Kong, they would have English on signs. So exit, emergency, things like that. Who's under that bloody sheet? Just some dead guy. Or as Matt Damon says in The Departed, I saw a dead guy. Lost my audience. Man, we're getting into the good stuff, but I don't know. It's late. It's too bad. Foxy, that's the informant's name. Foxy. That's another thing that's nice about a lot of these Hong Kong movies is like, I don't really know what they're saying in Cantonese, but they'll often give characters like weird nicknames rather than names. So it makes them kind of easy to remember. Although the nicknames in this trilogy, they vary from movie to movie because they kind of use the same characters and they kind of don't. And they also vary by like translation. Like usually like the main one is easy enough. Like Jackie Chan's character is usually called Muscles. But like some of these other guys had names like Roundhead and I don't know, just bizarre names. I wish I had them in front of me because they're fucking weird. In fact, I will put them in front of me because they're just so odd. And again, you're wondering like, is that just a bad translation or does that mean something? I don't know. So let's see. I want to look at some of this. So here's Lucky Stars Go Places, which is the last one. What we got here? We got Top Dog, Fat Cat, Long Legs. Those are bad guys though, but the actual gang has weirder names. Stanley Fung is Rawhide in this one. Yeah, Eric Tsang is Roundhead. One of them's called Pagoda. But the names sort of vary from movie to movie. But yeah, Jackie's usually Muscles. So yeah, but if you get like any of the Lucky Star movies, like Winners and Sinners is the first one, which is even worse because I don't think he's there at the start. Like if you watch like the middle one first, My Lucky Stars, like it's an opening with Jackie and Yun Bu as cops, Muscles and his partner, and they're going after some guys, I think in Japan, and the bad guys kidnap Yun Bu to get away. Then Jackie literally disappears from the movie for like 45 minutes, only to come back later, and then it all focuses on that gang of guys and the comedic aspects, which are not very good, but I can live with it. They're interesting, if nothing else. But yeah, like I wonder, like what those nicknames. Oh, that's the other thing. Speaking of nicknames, so the other thing in The Killer, you might remember, is that the guy that when they pretend to be friends, because the cop is coming, to arrest Chow Yun Fat, who of course is actually an assassin in that, but and they lie to the blind girl and pretend, oh no, we're actually old friends who knew each other in high school or like that. One of them, I can't remember who. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Chow Yun Fat's character refers to the cop as Shrimp Head, which I don't think any English person would ever use for anything ever, but maybe it makes sense in Cantonese. I don't know, but I remember that. It's like, hey, Shrimp Head. Yeah. See there, she says, "Who's smoking? Don't you know it's dangerous?" Like she tells him to put out the cigarette, but she doesn't make it sound like it's an actual rule. It's just like you shouldn't smoke. All right, so I've talked to her, but he's in here talking to Foxy, but then they're finding out that. Uh, I mean, wouldn't he think that he's here too? I think he saw him get injured before he jumped in the water to help people out again. I mean, Chow Yun Fat, didn't Tequila see Alan get injured? Wouldn't it make sense to him to think that Alan might be at the hospital? So now we've got Mad Dog impersonating a cop. Ooh, he looks intimidating too. Yeah, speaking of old martial arts movies, yeah, like check out some of those Venom mob movies, especially for a long time on Netflix. At least for me, they did have the original, The Five Deadly Venoms, which is a very cool late '70s Shaw Brothers martial arts movie. It's cool seeing their different styles. It's all about how like there's like these five masters, all of a different sort of animal style, and like the main hero has to overcome each of them. And Philip Kwok is the lizard guy, who has a very sort of airborne style. He goes. What the fuck is this? It's just some goddamn wrong number calling me. It's 2:31 here, 2:31 a.m. in Halifax, and this is a Halifax number calling me. So what the fuck? I'm used to this. I get wrong numbers and shit all the time. So okay, yeah. So that's the tie in there. The messages in the white roses that are getting sent into his girlfriend are actually sent by Alan. That's how he like keeps in contact with the department and sends them messages. So Alan's already back up on his feet, looking fine. Okay, maybe don't point the gun at me. If we're all buddy-buddy now, I don't think there's any need to point a gun at my face. And of course, Foxy is very nervous because he knows they're going to come and try to finish him off. Foxy's already moved off the bed and is hiding in the corner because I think he thinks the next person through that door is going to try to kill him. I mean, you can't blame Foxy for being paranoid considering what he's been through. Alan showing a little vulnerability for the first time, talking about how hard it is to live this dual life. Again, something that we could talked about quite a bit in Infernal Affairs and later The Departed. Of course, Infernal Affairs, like we said, is a trilogy. There's 2 more films that continue like for years later. I think they cover a few years. No, Foxy just thinks he's going to escape. That's not good. And now Mad Dog has dressed himself as a surgeon. Yeah, oh, nice. That's like horror movie shit. He just opened up his throat with a scalpel, nice blood spray. Very reminds you of Halloween 2, of course, taking place in a hospital. He dumped him down the laundry chute. Oh my god, that's good. I wonder about that too. They called me. I didn't answer. They didn't text me. So for like over 4 years, I've had this group of people that thought I was a woman named Lorna that would message me. Most of them sounded like they were like in their late 40s, maybe their 50s. And they seem to be like low-level drug dealers. They seem to like talk about like pills and cops and shit. And I kept blocking their numbers rather than talking to me. But I guess they just kept getting new numbers because I can't, like, for all I know, that was one of them, for Christ's sake. I've only, like, 2 years ago, I did talk to them. I was like, no, there's no Lorna. I'm not Lorna. Why do you think I'm Lorna? It's a continuing saga I got really annoyed with. I like how the cops there are more concerned with cleaning up the blood than investigating. Like, we gotta get this blood up. Well, where'd it come from? We'll figure that out later. This is a hospital, yo. Well, maybe that's why, because it's a hospital. We can't have blood all over the wall and the floor. Sorry, guys. Fox is dead. You know something's going on, but they can't move. Oh, is this? Does the girlfriend come to? Yeah, the girlfriend's come to the hospital. Of course, she is a cop. She's not just the girlfriend. She herself is a cop. So I'm not trying to downplay her role in this. She's looking at the cute little babies, perhaps feeling some maternal instincts, wondering when Tequila will commit. I don't know, because we need more Chinese babies. There's no way I can word that without sounding terrible. Forget Chinese babies. The world's overpopulated. I'm tired of people asking me why I don't have kids. I'd be like, why do you have them? It's much easier to not have kids than have them. Anyway, sorry. This wasn't very much, but it was enough to loosen my tongue, I guess. My bitterness. I'm sorry. Teach the children well. Okay, so now we have the three of them finally meeting. I don't think she's ever met Alan in person. Yeah, you have lovely taste. What does that mean? I'd choose it. Oh, okay, I get it. Don't hit on my girl, yo. Some minor discord? Trivial. Yeah. See, he says, like, get the patients out. Like, he knows something's going to go down, that they're going to come. And he definitely wants her out of there. I wonder if other movies she did is like a comedy, or if she has a comedy background, or anything to, be the voice of Dory. I don't know. There, he put something in her pocket. Wow, is that the morgue? It's immaculate. Yeah, it is the morgue. I mean, Hong Kong's a huge city, so I guess I shouldn't be too shocked that they have all these bodies. It's like, yeah, probably tons and tons of people die in Hong Kong every single day because it's a massive city, just like people are born every day, as we see with the babies. I mean, I'm sure Hong Kong has quite a few hospitals. Oh, here we go. He knows the guys at the mortuary, or what? Are they triad members? I guess so, because, yeah, here they are attacking them. So we get a little hand to hand here, but it won't be long until, oh, here we go, guns. So that guy was a cop. I'm a little surprised why they. I forget what they're trying to do here. Cop burst through the door with a shotgun and they took him out. I mean, they didn't kill him or anything. And I'm missing parts of the plot here. Like, I don't know how they know to attack the guys at the morgue. Yeah. So Wong, had started to not trust Alan because he told Alan to go to the hospital to kill Foxy, but then he sent Mad Dog to watch him. And of course, Mad Dog's the one that winds up killing Foxy. Alan and Tequila discover a hidden passage in the hospital leading to Wong's vault, where they get into a gunfight with Mad Dog. Oh, okay. So Wong literally has like a vault hidden in the hospital. Okay. So some of these hospital staff are triads working for Wong. I don't know. So we can see by the dates there, the movie came out in 92. I guess it's set in 91. Makes sense. It's when it was shot. So J1, that's something special. Yeah. So here we go. Instead of just another corpse, they're going to find something interesting. Oh, this is the passage. Yeah, okay. So there we go. Instead of it's one of those corpse drawers, here's the passage. What I just said, what I read ahead about, because I don't mean to read ahead, but sometimes when I'm talking, I'm distracted. I think I missed it. So now the door's closed behind them, but whatever. And as I said, obviously Mad Dog's gonna ambush them because I talked about that. But is cover blown yet? Maybe. I hope that mortuary's got good feng shui. He makes a good point. Don't you care about tequila? He's good. He could get killed. It's true. You don't understand him. He likes to hit the booze and play clarinet. He's complicated, man. She looks like somebody I've met before, but I can't think of who. Talking about the actress again. Theresa Mo. I think it's the hairstyle. Can't believe nobody stuck around for the climax. Oh well. This is for the people that aren't watching live, but will watch in the future. Since my channel gets so much traffic. So at this point, this is like the fourth or fifth movie Chow Yun Fat's done for Woo. He did Better Tomorrow. I can't remember if the same characters are in Better Tomorrow Part Two, but Better Tomorrow Part Two. But he also did The Killer, and he did Once a Thief, which was right before this, which is a movie I saw basically around the time it came out because I was pretty young when I saw Once a Thief. I don't remember the circumstances exactly, but I remember liking it. You know, I didn't know anything about Chow Yun Fat or John Woo or anything at the time, and it's not like it's violent as the other movies. It's a little different in tone, but it's a cool movie. They made a show about it too in the '90s. I don't know if it was a spin-off or it was a sequel, but there was a Once a Thief show that did air in North America, which is kind of rare because again, Asian characters. So are they stuck in the vault? Could be. Where did I put the phone? No new information. Checking the pipes. For what? Okay. For a second, I thought he was going to take his gun out again. I was like, that can't be your answer for everything. But no, he's putting the cuff on. He's trying to use the handcuff to loosen the screw, which is actually pretty smart. At first, I thought he was just going to take out his gun. It's like, that's your solution for everything, Tequila. Just shoot it. But no, pretty clever. He loosened the screw to take it out. But now what? He's got a bullet. Pretty high caliber bullet. It's pretty large. Taking the top cap off that. Taking a little. Oh, I see. It is sort of his answer. It's just not shooting. So he's taking some of the gunpowder out of the bullets. Wow, Alan's much more prepared. He's got like a little tool for it. He's got like tiny like pliers or something. Pliers. I really drank anything. I'm tripping over my words here. And one thing I want to get better at, like I think I speak well, but I do have a tendency to speak quickly, is maybe slow that down a bit and just enunciate a little better. Be a little more professional. You know, I've been watching some YouTube videos and things, and there's some people that do videos that I like a lot because they speak very, very clearly. And, you know I can do that. I just have a tendency to speak quickly. Got to slow it down. But then when you think how long sometimes I can go on, maybe it's for the better that I don't slow down. You know, you don't need all the videos I do to be 4 hours. Anyway, they've replaced it with a, yeah, this is to get themselves out of the vault. Of course, maybe this will blow us up. Let's find out. It would take pretty good aim because you can't, if you just shoot close up, it'll blow up in your face. You need to have some distance here, so you have to make a good shot. But you know he can do it. By him, I mean Tequila, or maybe not. His hand is shaking. He's nervous. I like this though. As to the tension, he's shaking, he's breathing. Alan seems to think he's better for it. Like he never says, "I can do it." There you go. Boom. Good shot. You got the door open. Good Boy Scout shit there to figure out a way to blow it open. Things are going to start happening quickly here now once Mad Dog shows up, and it becomes a pretty big free for all with a bunch of patients in the middle that Wong uses as human shields and hostages, but Mad Dog, that's not his style, as we'll see. But anyway, okay, so what's the next part here? It's not completely okay. You're going to electrocute yourself. What the fuck? Because, yeah, the only way he has to use himself as the conductor. Could somebody hang on that long? I don't know. Sometimes when you see people getting electrocuted in movies, they make it seem like, of course they could. In fact, they can't let go. But other times they make it seem like if they're holding on to something and they get electrocuted, they immediately like bounce off it or fly off it. Like remember in Jurassic Park when Tim gets caught on the electric fence when it powers up, he gets blasted off it. Like I don't know, is that what would happen, or would he like be literally stuck on it going like I don't know enough about the physics of electricity there. And is it if it was like a lower voltage, would he be stuck? Was it the fact that it's like 10,000 volts because they're really high, for the dinosaurs? Is that why? Like if it was a lower voltage, would he be stuck on? Like I don't know enough. But in any case, in this case, Mad Dog, not Mad Dog. Mad Dog's just taking a shot here at them. But Alan did manage to hold on for a few seconds. Mad Dog has arrived and he's blasting at them with a really cool gun. Using his arm to shoot. Pretty cool. Yeah. Some good stuff here. Yeah. Mad Dog still has not spoken. He's a silent but deadly character. I hate how that words now, because now it just sounds crass. But it's not what I meant. And there's not just a vault in here. There's like an armory. There's guns galore. I don't know why I'm describing it. Ideally, since nobody's watching at this point, future people, you have listened to me and you have put the movie on when I said to, and we're watching together. So you don't need me to describe it. Anyway, she's just found the white rose. Oh, wait, I'm narrating. I don't want to narrate. I want to commentate, not narrate. So here we go. Let's get back to commentating. Commentary, not narration. Yeah, all hell's about. Oh, look at Mad Dog. Very smart. Pretty cool. See, he even does like a spinning back kick there, but it was shit. It was a terrible spinning back kick. There, that's a good side kick. I mean, is it just because the main action of the movie is gunplay rather than martial arts that they figured they didn't care, or they figured it didn't matter because of Mad Dog's character? Because I know that actor is an martial artist and a stunt performer. He could have done a much better spinning back kick there, even though he's a bit older. But then again, I say he's a bit older. He's been through, maybe, he's had injuries. That's the other thing about being a martial artist and stunt man, right? It's not like you always age so smoothly. Like, think how lucky somebody like Jackie Chan is, considering all that he's put himself through and all the injuries and stuff, that he was still able to perform at a super high level as he got older for a long time. It's highly possible this guy, just doesn't have it anymore at this point, and who could blame him? He did a lot of stunt work, a lot of stuff, so I shouldn't, but I can't help it. If I see a sloppy kick, it's wired in me to pick it up. Because you're not used to seeing a sloppy kick in a Hong Kong action movie, You'll see it in all sorts of movies, action movies, probably from other countries. Oh, he's finally talking. He's going to tell him about who he hates. Fucking cops. And then again, he says effing cops and creeps who betray their bosses. So I get it. He's both. So yeah, Mad Dog. Let's just know a little about himself, his personality. Stop having this discussion and just evacuate the place. There's no time for you guys to argue about it. Yeah, so she feels the same way. There's no time for arguing, so she just hits the alarm. Which probably is the smartest thing to do. If you want people to leave the building, set off an alarm. Yeah, by law, you're obliged to evacuate everyone if there's a fire alarm. I mean, I get it, because before he was probably saying, I've got patients here that can't be moved because of the condition they're in. But trust me, it's a better idea to move them than subject them to what's about to happen. I mean, right now, yeah, they're down in a secret vault and they're safe, but Johnny has shown up with his men, and yeah, here we go. The gas. God, I don't remember this. They're gassing an event. Wow, this is more elaborate than I remembered. Yeah, when's the last time you saw this, Jay? Because there's a lot of stuff I forgot. Again, I knew all the broad strokes, but there's a lot of smaller things that I couldn't remember. Because for a movie I own and have owned for years, it's been a long time since I actually put it on, and that's why I decided to do this. Because a few days ago, I was thinking like I really want to watch Hard Boiled because I haven't watched in a while, and then I thought I might as well do a commentary if I get the chance. So that's why we're here now. Yeah, Johnny says the innocent must die, like as if you give a shit. I hold all the aces, by the way. Yeah, he's saying I've got the advantage here because they have to actually worry about people's safety, where I don't. Oh God, now this doctor's saying false alarm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a real power struggle going on here between the cop superintendent and this like head doctor. I'll castrate you. Well, that probably ends it. Cops threatening to castrate you. You should probably just do what he says. And of course, now the problem with the babies. They've gotten so many people out, but not the babies. I wonder how many of these babies get mixed up and families bring home the wrong babies after this. They probably have some system so that they don't. I remember Jay and I talking about that when they did the baby switching joke on Once Upon a Time in America, because that was like in the 30s or something. I figure probably by now this is the 90s. They make it so the babies are tagged or something so they don't get mixed up, even if they get moved around. Yeah, here we go. So now they're literally gonna like lock down all the doors. It's the 90s. This is like Jurassic Park. They control everything by computer. There goes the power. There goes the doors. Oh shit! And they're literally shooting out the windows of the people fleeing. I mean, you've lost your mind, Johnny. See, this is so terrible. It's actually funny. It's one of those things like if it was in real life, it would be so awful. But in a movie, it seems like so over the top. It's crazy. You've got like patients in like gowns running each other over. You've got people in like casts and stuff, and then you have bad guys like mowing them down and stuff. Like it's so awful. It's actually kind of funny because it's like these people were in surgery, and this guy's coming in and starts shooting at people. Okay, yeah. That's the other thing. There's cops throughout the building that are actually dressed like doctors and patients for safety. I don't know. Yeah, breaking some glass finally. That's the one thing this movie doesn't have much of compared to a lot of those like John Woo shootout movies or Jackie Chan movies. Is like not too much glass breaking, but now that we're at the climax of the hospital, we get some. Yeah, these poor people. What's your end game here, Johnny? Kill everyone in Hong Kong, and then I'll be king. Yeah, I don't think we have enough bullets for that. And start with those newborn babies. I hate them the most. That's good. Cops not immortals. We've got guns, so have we. They just have 38s. Not entirely true. I think by now, that's the other thing too. Like I know Hong Kong would definitely have like a SWAT team, so wouldn't they be on scene at this point? Let's not poke holes. At this point, it is true. The bad guys have like big, fully automatic assault rifle type guns. It's just a horror show outside. Patients getting gunned down in the parking lot. And inside's not much better. Move it, asshole with leukemia! Ah! They did literally say move it, asshole. I had it with leukemia. Right? Just again, show how bad these bad guys are. Yeah. Now they're literally pointing the guns at the newborn babies. She stands up for them, of course. I'd like you to shut up. You're scaring the babies to death. Ah, they're too young to know what's going on. I mean, that's the one good thing about this. If you were a baby that lived through this, you wouldn't remember any of it. Horrible massacre at the hospital. If you're a baby and you live through it, you're not going to have bad memories. It's one blessed thing about being a baby. You don't remember shit. Although whenever you read like fantasy books and things like that, people always seem to have memories from like when they were a baby. Like Harry Potter had like memories of like when his parents got killed. And I'm thinking, you were 1 year old. I know it was a crazy traumatic event, but you wouldn't remember. But I shouldn't poke holes in Harry Potter. It's perfect. I love the like create the stupid hairdo that Johnny has too. Just so we know he's like a complete prick. Just so we already know we're root against him. He's an asshole triad leader that murdered his own boss to take over, and now he's willing to take people in hospitals not only hostage but gun them down. But they're like, give him like a stupid like game show host haircut. That's good. Yeah, so they're talking over the like intercom here to each other, and he says, but Mad Dog's looking on. This doesn't mean nothing to Mad Dog. He said he hates two kinds of people. He hates effing cops, and he hates guys that betray their bosses. Well, we already know then that he hates Johnny. But there's probably a third thing in that list. He probably hates people that that shoot patients at a hospital or take babies hostage. Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah, this is getting good. Yeah, so when the SWAT does show up, they escalate. They've got that guy had like a rocket launcher and another one. Yeah, this is kind of reminiscent of a part of like Terminator 2 when he's shooting out the window and blowing up the cop cars. This is kind of similar. This movie's only a year after Terminator 2. Some people, if you're talking about action, there's a lot of people that still consider Terminator 2 the greatest action movie of all time. It's close for me. It's right up there. I mean, it's the other thing, like, two of the best action movies of all time were both James Cameron, T2 and Aliens. Sci-fi action, but action. He says he ended up killing the innocent. Yeah, that's not good, Alan. There's one of the cops undercover. Well, whatever you want to say. Cops in the hallway. Oh, to move down to Antarctica. He says it's always light, but that's not true. It's only always light at certain parts of the year. It's the same thing as the North Pole or whatever. At certain parts of the year, it would always be dark. I don't want to be a musician, but I came to cop. Have their little moments of life should be about fun. And yet somehow we're stuck in like the craziest hostage situation of all time with like an army of violent, armed to the teeth bad guys. But here we go. Time for self pity is over. Time to kick ass. And that's the other thing though. They are in the armory, so they've got all the same. They just used a grenade. They've got everything they've got. Bad guys have. Oh, sliding on the table. So good. Okay, that particular sound effect got used a lot in like cartoons. Like I've never really thought it was a bullet sound. I can't do it, but if you heard it, you know what I mean? Like I remember hearing stuff like Transformers and stuff, which is definitely not bullets. I have a really good mind for sound effects. I remember them. I register them. And if one gets repeated, like if I hear a sound effect in one movie, I hear it in another, I remember it usually. What's the name of that yell that gets used in everything? Star Wars. Star Wars lifted it from the sound archives. They brought it from some old western, and it got put in the Star Wars movies, and now it's in like everything. That I can't do it. But, it's like a high pitched and they use it for everything. Now, yeah, Mad Dog gonna turn on him. Say he's out of line. I know he doesn't fully turn on him because he still has to have a fight with one or both of these guys, and he's gonna do a thing where he like lets people evacuate first. Like, he still does want to get them, but he does not like Johnny's methods. Oh, they're doing some covert shit with some. That's such a good sequence. That is so good. All with the silenced weapons, so that they don't, so people don't hear them coming. Well, now people's gonna hear, but still, that's such a good thing. Them moving down the hall and shooting the guys and so that's really well done. Looks really cool. Great tension here. I mean, it's kind of easy to do. You've got literally a room full of innocent patients, and so it's not hard, but still. Where's Alan? What do you mean you caught a cop? Why on earth would you take him alive? You've been like slaughtering everybody, and now you have one of your main antagonists here, and you're like, yeah, bring him over. Let's interrogate him. I don't know. Like, why wouldn't you just shoot him on sight? Anyway, we'll see. That's why. Because it's Alan. Stupid me. Answering my own questions. I gotta stop trying to poke holes in the movie. The movie knows what it's doing. I'm the one who doesn't because I forget stuff. The movie's perfect. There are no flaws. Why would they take him alive? They didn't. I'm an idiot. What the hell kind of gun does that guy got? It's crazy. Here come the SWAT teams. Good effing luck. See, there's you see, the movie is more realistic. Like, patients are dying here. They are getting hit. It feels like in a lot of these American movies, they make sure like a point to show that like, well, no, the patients, it comes close, but nobody gets hit. And like they're like, no, bullets are flying everywhere. Some people are going to get hit. Still, they're getting more out. Still got to get those babies out. I can't sit back the way I normally look. Well, I can, but I don't like how I look on camera. More broken glass. Here we go. Okay, it's not hundreds. You can't count. There's a lot, but there's not hundreds. Yeah, she has this plan of putting cotton balls in their ears so they won't hear stuff. It might work. I don't know how well babies' hearing is. Are babies hear really well? Man, that guy's holding out. This lone cop. SWAT has entered. Ooh, the upside down shooting. Nice. Okay, that's good. I was wondering if that cop was gonna get shot in the confusion, if the SWAT team wasn't gonna know and they were just gonna blow him away, but he managed to let them know. Oh, is that like Paddington Bear? I think they had a Paddington Bear over one of them. It'd be funnier if it was Winnie the Pooh, huh? Get it? China? Winnie the Pooh? Yeah. He's persona non grata there. All right, Operation Baby Removal. They just absolutely destroy this hospital. It's awesome. Oh, all you had to do is do that, and Alan knew it was him. Pretty good. Here, just push the baby through the fire. Oh, that won't work. Oh, so close. I like stuff like that. That's so cool. They almost blew the cop away. She's like, no, it's ours. And then they have to shoot past him to get the guy behind him. So many near misses. Like they just take full advantage of like the chaos and danger of the situation. So good. Triads are still blasting out the windows. It doesn't get more heroic than that. If the SWAT guy did get killed there, I mean, he took a lot of hits. He might not be dead. He does have a vest. Like, he didn't drop the baby. That's impressive. He took a lot of shots, and he did not drop that baby. Hero. Yeah. The whole, like, last half hour of this movie is bonkers. And, I mean, the movie is just full of crazy action sequences, too, but they really outdo themselves, this whole sequence. Oh, this is great. I remember this. Another sort of long shot of them coming down the hall. Yeah, let's see how long this goes. It's all still one take. Oh, yeah, this might be the best sequence in the movie. This long take of them making their way down the hallways. Now they switch sides. A little bit of slow mo. Come out of it. You make it easy. Still same shot. It's a pile of them. Oh yes, it finally happened. Alan shot one of the good guys. Fuck, how could I forget about that? Plus, this is such a great sequence. I mean, it's not his fault considering the situation they're in. You can't blame him. But Alan is just in complete shock. I think he lies to him. He says, "I killed one of our own." Is tequila lie? And he says, "Bull." Like I, yeah, you pretty. I saw his ID. He was bullshit. It was. I saw his ID. Like, you're hallucinating. Yeah. I guess he's just trying to do what he can, so he holds it together. But yeah, that whole sequence is so good. Man, that is good. There's got to be movies that probably imitated that. I know you're down on killing Alan, but I need you to kill just a little bit more. I don't think it's cut yet. The whole elevator thing. I think we're still going. Yeah, that's right. He shot somebody at the tea house. That was a cop. Yeah, was the guy really shot a cop? Yeah. Fuck. I was just lying to you, but yeah, this is all still the same sequence since I started this. There, finally a cut, and yet it's almost seamless anyway. Yeah. So now we're back to doing cuts, but man, that was good. That was long. That was like what, 3 4 minutes? Mad Dog's got the BFG there. There's still some patience here because I know there's a whole part where Mad Dog like lets patients get out. It's like, how are you still stuck here? Yeah, they're still getting babies out the window, still getting shot. Dive through a window head first like it's nothing. Although again, you could say like what you want about adrenaline, right? Like sometimes you could like hit like cut yourself really badly and things like that and not know. So I mean, I can at least get that it's possible that you could dive head through a window and get all cut up by glass, but still keep going because of the adrenaline. Still doing Operation Baby Drop. It's called Maple Group Hospital. What? Maybe I misread that. See whose baby it is. We don't see any like completely hysterical parents. They're probably all dead the way things are going. That guy took like 1,000 rounds. So even if he's wearing a vest, I don't think it helped him. Does not let up for a second. Jesus. Looked like Tequila took one in the knee there, but apparently not. This is what happens when you get down to main characters. You have people getting like mowed down and blasted every second, but now we've got 3 characters all unloading at each other. Well, I mean two against one, and they can't hit each other. They're just diving all over the place. Yeah, see, the girlfriend gets to do quite a bit. That guy got to say fucking bitch before he died. Good for him. Like, I know she's gonna kill me, but I'll call her a bitch and slap her first because I want to go out as a complete misogynist. You did. Yeah, here we go. This must be the bit where Mad Dog lets them go. Because I mean, we're running out of time here. He's still firing. What have you been fighting for at this point, Mad Dog? Of course, we haven't seen Johnny in a while. We know he's still safe, the bastard. See, shots like that are confusing because at first I thought Tequila got shot in the back. Sometimes the way the camera moves there, you lose sight of where people are. But I think that's deliberate that time. Oh, I love this. This is great. Running down the hall, shooting through the windows at each other. Yeah, it's kind of amazing neither of them hit each other. But movie. The babies are out. Oh no, she has to go back for one more baby. Tequila will get it. Oh, I haven't seen Johnny in a while. Johnny's like, well, let's blow the whole place up. Johnny, like 80% of your gang is dead. One baby left. We don't have time for any of that cooing bullshit. You just have to get him out. Still more window guys. How many of these guys do we have to kill? God is the wind beneath our wings, says a poster in English. I don't know. 1992. That Bette Midler song was pretty popular a couple years ago. That's Bette Midler, isn't it? Yeah. Rockabye Baby in a cup. When the volume. Oh, he's making up his own words. I get it. When a gun fires. I get it. It's not easy to make something that rhymes in Cantonese and English. I'm sure it's different. But... Oh, great blood spray. Yeah, you can't sing, but don't worry. I'll play a clarinet for you sometime. You like jazz? Sure. Kids love jazz. No, it's not X-rated action. That's something that does not translate, Chow Yun Fat. You shooting a guy is not X-rated action. That's R-rated action. I mean, it is true though. I mean, back in the day, X-rated just had to do with it could be like extreme violence. Oh, there finally the henchman guy with the hair even dumber than Johnny finally got killed. Oh, very nice. He's been hit and his blood is on the baby, but he'll keep going. You know, you just kind of smeared it, but I guess it's better than nothing. Wow, he listened to you. He said, "Give me a smile," and he did. That baby's a hell of an actor. He can smile on command. C4 getting. How's Alan doing? Meanwhile, Meanwhile, Alan and Mad Dog continue to like do crazy jumps and spinning moves and aren't able to hit each other. I think this movie must have broken the record for diving through the air firing. I think it even beats The Killer. Okay, this is where they're aiming guns at each other, and there's literally a bunch of patients and nurses right in the middle of them. Yeah. So this happens a lot later. One of them is definitely dead. Where Mad Dog does agree to let them all go out. Because he's a bad guy, but he's not that bad. He's not bad like his boss. Alan does lower his gun first, though. They even take their hands off the gun. I don't know if I'd do that. Yeah, see, he calls the nurse sister, but she's not a nun. She's a nurse. Oh, God, like four of them are on crutches. And, oh, yeah, and Johnny just blasts them to get to him. Yeah. I literally didn't remember that. Like, so I remembered that Mad Dog, like, was going to let them go. But this is what, yeah, this drives, like, Mad Dog can't believe it. Johnny just mows these people down trying to get Alan. Mad Dog makes his choice. And he only shoots the gun out of his hand. I kill whoever's in my way. Ah, damn. You were too late, Mad Dog. Only could have figured this out sooner. I mean, you kind of redeem yourself, sure, but when you think about it, you should have done this a lot earlier. Yeah, I honestly forgot that Johnny just blows all those people away. I knew that he kills Mad Dog for. Anyway, no point going over it. We're getting down to the end here. Johnny's finally involved, and he's got a hell of a gun. Some more C4 for you. See, that's what's confusing. Like, no wonder it's hard to like know if you're killing the right guys. Like, because some of their enemies are literally uniformed cops here that are actually working for Johnny. You're just shit. It's too dangerous. Well, considering what we've been through, what's a little more, a bit more danger? Literally thousands of millions of rounds have been fired at or around us. But sure, let's blow up the whole place. Even Johnny knows he can't get out, I guess. We don't really have time to exchange a meaningful look, but okay. Go, go. Bullshit. See, yelling that in Cantonese sounds somewhat dramatic, but yelling bullshit doesn't really work in English. And how he's already done the whole. He's already done the like coming down on a cable, blasting away at guys in a warehouse. Now he's literally running with an explosion behind him with an infant in his arms. You're checking all the boxes there, Shelly Fat. I mean, that's a dangerous scene to film. There's some real explosions going on here. This isn't just a bunch of digital trickery. There's actual explosions happening all over the place. Again, give it to John Woo and the crew for just how well done this is. Because this is not just complicated, it's dangerous. It's a strange traveling explosion. Still literally patients coming out. I mean, I get it, it's a big hospital, it makes sense, but I mean, this has to beat Die Hard. It's really cool when John McClane does his whole thing, but I mean, Chow Yun Fat is literally on fire as he does this, and still carrying an infant, and the kid pisses it out. Because okay, again, we don't have time for these little asides, Tequila. You want to save the kid? You can talk to him later. Get out. I mean, Jesus, that's an incredible stunt. Whoever's doing it. I know it's not like as high up or anything. Like he's only a story up, but I mean, oh man, that's the explosion that keeps on giving, man. Like that explosion started like what a full 3 minutes ago, and then it had like little stops and starts and as the fire traveled. And baby's safe. Where's Alan? He's in there somewhere. Sure, he's fine. Yeah, it's called Maple Group Hospital. There's Johnny. Here's Johnny for the cop hostage. Oh, I mean that's Alan himself. He's got Alan. Silly me. Forgot that Alan was wearing those clothes. I mean, we already know that Johnny's lost it, but what he does here is interesting. He calls him the hard-boiled cop. About even. That's one way of assessing the situation. It's late, but I haven't really been up that long. Thought you were some kind of super cop. No, that's Jackie Chan. Super Cop came out the same year. That's Police Story 3. And I don't own a good version of that. That bothers me. I have the first two police stories, but I need Super Cop. I need uh, First Strike. It's like hit yourself. Say you're impotent. Yeah, okay, sure. I'm impotent. And the cop's looking down like, how humiliating. Like, as if that really matters at this point. All the blood and death and carnage. It's like, oh, he's making him do embarrassing stuff. How will he ever live with himself? Now take your pants off. What's the end game here? Here we go. Here, I'll just shoot myself because I'm so sick. Alan is so sick of him that he just shoots himself. Now that you right through the eye. I guess they were they do a little flash there to him shooting the thing in the basement in the vault just to remind us what a good shot he is. Shoots him right through the eye. Volume up here. There's no more shooting, so need some music into this. And it looks like Alan's dead, but he's not dead. Spoilers alert for the next few seconds. Alan looks dead. He's not dead. He's going to survive. And yeah, I remember this now. They're going to destroy his file and declare him dead so he can have a new life and get away from the triads. It's like there's still more triads. Are they all dead? But no, the triads are a pretty big organization. So But at first, you just think they're burning his because he really is dead. Oh, and there's the lighter that he used to protect Foxy. I gotta remember my birthday. Yeah, and they really make it seem to the audience that he really is dead. Of course, it's like they're remembering him. And now I've got a voice over him talking about stuff he wants to do, like move to Antarctica. Yeah, it's not always light, but I already corrected you on that one. There we go. All the cranes dropped in the water. He's on the boat. He's alive. It's like the end of Red Dragon. On the boat, dropping stuff in the water. You go, Alan. There you go. Hard Boiled, 1992, John Woo. Tony Leung, Chow Yun Fat. It was well overdue that I watched it again, so I thought I might as well do something useful with it and do a live commentary. I didn't figure I'd have really much company, so it was nice when people were around for at least the first half. And anybody watching at a later date, thanks a lot, because this is a great movie. I don't think I gave it really the best commentary, but at least it showed my genuine affection for the movie. And at least at the beginning, I did have some facts and things to. I like how it says saxophone. They can't spell saxophone. They spell it with a G. That's not how you spell saxophone. It's not saxophone. But whatever. Shouldn't be too hard on the English credits. It's funny that it ends with that like sax music. They're like there just isn't any like really cool like clarinet music we can do here. It might be clarinet's just not that good. we'll have to revert to the typical awesome sax music. The end. But yeah, it's long overdue. I watched the movie. One of my favorite movies. My favorite John Woo movie. Although the killer does give it a run for its money, and I do like a lot of the other movies, including some of his American movies like Face Off and such. I'm a huge fan of John Woo. Huge fan of Tony Leung, Chow Yun Fat. Just Hong Kong action. I'm going to do more Hong Kong action movies. Some like the John Woo stuff and some like martial arts stuff. But I hope I can do some of them with some people. But as I said, these are not easy movies for other people to necessarily find. But we'll see how that goes over time. I won't drag out the ending here. I don't know. It's fun. I knew it was going to be a long night for me tonight, so I wanted to divert some energy into doing something somewhat constructive. I know it's just a live commentary for a film. It's not even a serious one. It's not like because some live commentaries I want to like inform a bit more. Like I said, a lot of this I had some information and then it was just me reacting to stuff. And sometimes I was narrating, and that's a bad habit. I don't mean to narrate and tell people what's going on. The idea is you're watching the movie with me. So it's kind of stupid when I revert to narration, but I don't know. I lost my audience at a certain point and didn't know what to do. So anyway, no point in dragging it out. Next time I do something on the channel, it will not be just a sort of half-assed on my own commentary. If the next thing I do is a commentary, it'll be a planned one with guests. So it won't just be me rambling endlessly. There'll still be some of that, but at least there'll be somebody else there to keep me in check. And if it is something on my own, it'll be something more planned, maybe an unboxing or something else. We'll see how that goes. I still do have maybe a couple good unboxings on the horizon. My birthday's in a couple days, so we'll see what comes of that. You never know. So thanks a lot for being with me, anybody that tuned in tonight or anytime in the future. Hard Boiled, 1992, John Woo. Love it. Great movie, right up there. One of the best action movies of all time from one of the best action directors of all time. Hong Kong action is the best, I have to say. So thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Whatever we're doing, I appreciate it. So thanks a lot, guys. Peace out. Have a good one, and have a good night.